We are currently in the midst of one of the largest cryptocurrency hacks in history, and in this video, we're going to talk about what you need to do to keep yourself safe and what you need to know. I also want to talk about something very interesting at the end of the video in regards to erasing the US debt with cryptocurrency assets like XRP. Guys, make sure to stick around to the end of the video. This seemed like a conspiracy theory for a while, but just got a whole lot more real. Like always, your support means so much to this channel. Thank you to everyone who takes the time to like these videos and subscribe to the channel. These two simple things really do help me out so much. Also, if you ever need a place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange uphold down in the description of this video. With that said, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So I want to jump right into things and talk about the hack underway right now, because I know a lot of people are going to be interested about this. So just earlier today, there was a post by the Ledger CEO saying essentially there's been a huge hack on essentially the repository that a lot of these different wallet providers and blockchains are actually using to run code. So pretty much the code that goes behind a lot of these devices is essentially hacked. Now, this is not a problem for people using institutional custody and things like that, right? Institutional custodians, they don't get their code from these free repositories. It's really more of a self-custody kind of thing. So if you're in institutional custody, you're chilling. If you're using a ledger or a hot wallet or something like that, first, take a deep breath. The vast majority of people make mistakes in stuff like this, trying to do things too quickly. They get a text on their phone saying, oh, there's been a hack here, please respond to this, or hey, you need to move your assets to this other address because there's a hack, go do this now. Don't do anything with any urgency. The best thing you can do right now over the next 48 to 72 hours is absolutely nothing. The best thing you can do is sit back, do nothing, and do not sign any transactions. Just forget about crypto for 72 hours, wake back up, and this will probably have been moved past. The vast majority of people who are going to put themselves into trouble are going to be people who scramble to go do something and end up falling victim to a different type of hack altogether. So, first of all, calm down, don't do anything, and you will likely be safe. This is one of the downsides, though, of doing self-custody that not a lot of people talk about, right? Everyone talks about how great self-custody is. Well, at the end of the day, you're your own security team as well, so you have to watch out for these kind of things. When you do self-custody, you're essentially your own bank, which is exciting, but banks have huge security teams. They have teams specifically monitoring bad activity. They have teams monitoring weird transactions. They have people constantly updating, refreshing, backing up new code, checking it, right? So unfortunately, it's one of the downsides of self-custody. Stuff like this is going to happen. One of the things that's very interesting to note is right now, it doesn't look like this actually involves the XRP ledger. It looks like it involves a lot of the chains that rely on JavaScript, things like Bitcoin, things like Ethereum, things like Litecoin. There's a lot of major chains implicated here, but it doesn't look like the XRP ledger is one of them. Now, you can never be too safe. So still, I would say if you are using a cold storage wallet, something like a ledger, or you're using something like a hot wallet, right? I would still say probably just don't use those for 72 hours, right? Let things sort of play out, shake out. Don't sign any transactions. Don't respond to any texts. Don't respond to any emails saying, oh, there's been this hack, please go do this, right? Just do nothing. Forget about cryptocurrency for 72 hours. Come back and everything will probably be fine. The people who are going to get themselves into trouble are going to be the people trying to outsmart people and try to get ahead of things. Any single time you act with too much urgency in crypto, you're probably making a mistake. Sit back, understand that there's not going to be, it looks like, any capability for these people to like steal key phrase off a ledger or anything like that. So just don't sign any transactions, leave everything alone, and you'll be good. Once again, one of the downsides of self-custody, unfortunately, yes, you get to be your own bank, but you also get to be your own security team. Some people want to be their own bank. They don't want to be their own security team. It's an issue. Unfortunately, though, one of the only things that can solve that is things like institutional custody. So I wanted to bring that to people's attention real quick. Unfortunately, it's not a fun topic to have to bring up, but I really just wanted to dissuade against anyone from panicking, trying to act too quickly, and kind of getting ahead of things. I want to move on, though, and talk about something a little bit more interesting, a little bit more fun, a little bit more bullish, and that's that it looks like the United States is looking to really ramp up its efforts to get the Clarity Bill passed. Now, this is really exciting because, guys, yes, the United States wants to be the leader in cryptocurrency innovation, but the real question is why, right? Why are they trying so hard to get this Clarity Act passed? Why are they trying to front run everyone else in terms of cryptocurrency all of a sudden out of nowhere? And I think it goes back to something that Trump said that a lot of people took as a bit of conspiracy theory and a joke, but might be a little bit more legitimate than I think a lot of people gave it credit for, including myself. There are a lot of people now, including the advisor for Vladimir Putin, talking about the United States using stablecoins and crypto to wipe out its 35 trillion in debt. Now, on its surface, it's like, wait, what does this even mean? How could you do this, right? Like, how is buying crypto, which costs money, going to wipe out debt? It's a very, very interesting idea. But when you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. And let me explain this to you. What the United States is doing right now is recognizing that the world of interbank settlement, legacy, analog systems is going away. We're about to go through a revolution where the entire financial landscape globally is going to look a lot different. And that's because we are embedding financial infrastructure into the internet via cryptocurrency technology. The United States understands this, right? They are finally seeing this for the first time after ignoring it for forever. Now they're saying, you know what, it's too late, right? This is happening and we can't miss out. The United States is saying, hey, look, we need to get clarity in the United States so that we can have large institutional players step in and start dominating this next generation era and arena of finance. The United States dominates the current arena. And that's the reason why they have been the most successful economy in the world, because they dominate the financial system and they dominate tech infrastructure. Two very important things. Well, cryptocurrency is these two things merged together, right? The financial infrastructure and the tech infrastructure. And the United States is understanding that if they don't dominate this next field, right, this next platform of finance, someone else will. So rather than the United States dollar being the denominated unit in the cryptocurrency world, it might be the Chinese yuan, it might be the Mexican peso, right? They want to be the dominant player in issuing currency and creating financialized products. Why do they want to do that? At the end of the day, it just all comes down to inflation and debt. The more money the United States can issue, the more money the United States can put out there, the faster they can grow the United States economy, and therefore the faster they can dilute inflation. The more dollars they have in other people's hands, the more it dilutes the inflation effect. The United States can spend more money, they can build up the economy faster, but they can't do that if they don't have more holders of the United States dollar. What the United States is seeing is there is a huge market demand for doing things on chain. And there's a lot of economic activity that can't be possible unless you are on chain. So the United States is trying to get ahead of all of this. They are saying, you know what? Let's just make it all clear. Let's win. Let's go lead in this front and let's start making the dollar as the base denominated unit the most important asset in this new global cryptocurrency infrastructure. If they can do that, essentially what they'll be able to do is issue a lot more dollars out there into the world and be able to grow the economy at a much faster clip. Now, what does this have to do with XRP? Well, at the end of the day, the United States government is not going to be doing this on their own. They're not going to be making up United States government chain. And if you take a look at who's the most serious players in the United States, who is in a United States-based company who could help the United States catch up and start dominating this next generation field, who's been working with the Federal Reserve since 2013, who has advisors who are formerly part of the Fed and Treasury, well, it all comes down to Ripple. The fact that the United States government is seriously considering as a factor of national security issuing and getting involved with cryptocurrency technology. Guys, about a year and a half ago, we thought stuff was going away and could potentially be banned from the United States. Gary Gensler was doing his best to do it. And now this current administration is looking at these cryptocurrency assets as being critical to get rid of the national debt and upgrade the United States financial system. This is no small, oh, well, you know, that's pretty good. I get this is like revolutionary stuff, right? This is the kind of stuff that is going to legitimize the cryptocurrency landscape for the entire world to a very serious degree. This is like, hey, this is no longer just something that might be a thing. This is like, hey, this is like one of the most important, critical infrastructure pieces the world has ever seen with the United States adoption. Because all it takes is them. It's a spider web effect. It's a network effect. It's like cracking a windshield, right? It starts with one crack, but then that branches out to someone else, and then to someone else, and then to someone else. And then suddenly you have the United States doing business with a couple large other countries or counterparties using blockchain technology. And if you're not doing it, you're just missing out. This was always one of the things that I tried to make very clear on this channel about XRP, especially since the Ripple SEC case. Ultimately, it doesn't matter what regulators want or what regulators want to do. The technology is too powerful to ignore. It's one of the best parts about tech investing. Yes, everyone can do their best to try to stop it, to try to slow things down, to try to make things happen the way they want it to. But ultimately, you can't. You couldn't stop Amazon from doing e-commerce because Walmart wanted to win because people liked e-commerce more. You couldn't stop Google from winning search. You couldn't say, no, everyone keep using the newspaper because ultimately people liked Google more. And in that same exact way, you can't stop people from using these cryptocurrency networks and say, hey, you have to go use your traditional bank because people like using the cryptocurrency networks more. So it's always been obvious that this was going to happen. But the most important part was, when was the actual adoption going to come, right? It was one thing for enthusiasts like me and you to be playing around with these things. Is another thing to have the legitimate blessing and use case from the United States government. Guys, it looks like that's the stage we're at right here. And it looks like this is no longer just a theory of, oh, we might do it. It looks like this is being taken seriously by not only the United States, but some of the United States' biggest competitors as well. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. And for now, Mickle out.